Hello everyone, I am Dr. Nishi and I'll be discussing a few of the very important breast MCQs today. Right? So let us move forward. The first MCQ. Now it says 45 years old female presents with large breast lump. Okay, so 45 age is 45 and she presents with large breast lump. Examination reveals skin ulceration, but the lump is free from chest wall. True cut biopsy shows cystic. A true cut biopsy shows cystic spaces and epithelial clefts in leafy pattern without abnormal mitosis. So what is the management? Now as you can see, this is a clinical based question. What we have to do is we have to look out for keywords in the question which will help us to come to a diagnosis, right? So let us see what are those keywords here. Fine. See, the age is 45 years old and she has a large breast lump with ulceration. Okay, so there is ulceration, but it is free from the chest wall. Okay, so we are getting to a conclusion that okay, there is a breast lump which is free from the chest wall, that is for sure. Biopsy is showing cystic spaces and leafy pattern. What's the most important keyword here is that leafy pattern. In the histology you see a leafy pattern. Now this very word should point you to a diagnosis. And again, another important is that without abnormal mitosis. Now there is no abnormal mitosis. This indicates us that we are dealing with a benign tumor, right? So these two keywords should take us to a diagnosis, which will be Phyllodes tumor, right? Now once you come to that diagnosis, then you should see what are the options of management. Okay, so they have given 4 options. One is enucleation, then either simple mastectomy, the third is simple mastectomy with axillary lymph node clearance, and the fourth one is MRM, right? So what's the treatment for Phyllodes tumor? If we know the treatment for Phyllodes tumor, the answer is very simple. Now see, Phyllodes tumor is also known as cystosarcoma phylloides, right? Phyllodes tumor is also known as cystosarcoma phylloides, right? Now apart from two things, that in histology it shows a leafy pattern and that it does not show any abnormal mitosis, right? We need to know that this is almost a benign tumor. Mostly this is a benign tumor, right? Mostly this is a benign tumor. Some may be malignant, but in this question it points us to a benign tumor itself. Another important point is that cystosarcoma phylloides does not metastasize by lymphatic route. Does not ever metastasize by lymphatic route. Fine. So when you know that it does not metastasize by lymphatic route, so that means one option, that simple mastectomy with axillary lymph node clearance, is ruled out, because you don't need to take out the lymph nodes, because those are not the sites of metastasis. Similarly, MRM is done typically for a breast carcinoma, and that also involves axillary clearance, which we are not going to do, right? Another one is enucleation. Now for a large breast lump, enucleation is a very impractical treatment, okay? And also this is followed by recurrence. I mean, Phyllodes tumor is very much prone to recurrence also. So this takes us to the answer, which will be simple mastectomy. So the right answer is simple mastectomy, right? So this is our answer here. So let's move on to the next question. Next question is, which of the following breast lesions has no risk of malignant transformation? Right. So let us see again what are the options here. The options are sclerosing adenosis, right? And then we have atypical lobular hyperplasia and papilloma with fibrovascular core, or a papilloma with solid hyperplasia. Now, in this, one option you can definitely rule out, which is atypical lobular hyperplasia. Whenever we have atypical hyperplasia, right? If we have atypical hyperplasia, anything that is atypical is premalignant. So this option definitely has a risk of malignancy, and we shall not consider this. Next, we are left with a sclerosing adenosis and papilloma with fibrovascular core, or a papilloma with solid hyperplasia. So here the answer comes out to be, actually the lesion which has no risk of malignancy is sclerosing adenosis, right? Now let's for this we have to see what are the lesions that have premalignant risk in breast. For this, let us see the next slide. Lesions with highest risk, or 5 times increased risk to be exact, is atypical hyperplasia, right? And this papilloma with fibrovascular core or papilloma with hyperplasia, whether florid or moderate, has a low risk but definitely has some risk, and that is 1.5 times, right? And all the other lesions have no risk, like fibroadenoma or ductectasia or perirectal mastitis. So if you need to remember the pre-malignant lesions of breast carcinoma, just remember 3 things. One is the atypical hyperplasia, and the others are papilloma with a fibrovascular core or papilloma with solid hyperplasia. If you remember these 3, you can as well answer such a question, right? So let's move on to the third question. The third question is best prognostic marker for carcinoma breast. Okay, so let us see what are the options here. We have tumor size, tumor grade, axillary nodes, and Ki67. Ki67 is a proliferation index, right? Now, in a way, all these options do have some, you can say, contribution towards deciding the prognosis of the breast cancer. Fine, but whenever we ask what is the best prognostic marker, you have to give the best possible answer, and here that will be axillary nodes. Now this is a repeat question, this has come many times, and the answer you must remember that is axillary nodes. Why? Because axillary node involvement does determine the probability of distant mets. It determines the probability of a lymph node mets, of distant mets, sorry. Everything else like size or grade also have an implication, but when you have to choose one option, it will be axillary nodes, right? So coming to the next question, next question is, which of these mutation has least lifetime risk of breast cancer, right? Now we have the options as BRCA1, BRCA2, P53, or KRAS. I think most of us or most of the students must be knowing that BRCA1 and BRCA2 definitely have a risk of breast carcinoma, right? These two definitely carry a risk of familial breast cancer, right? With a lifetime risk of 50 to 80% for BRCA1 and about 80 to 90% for BRCA2. So these two options are definitely ruled out. Then we have P53 and KRAS. Now P53 again is associated with sporadic. P53 is associated with sporadic breast cancer. P53 mutation, right? So this is sporadic breast cancer. So what we are left with is KRAS, and that is the correct option. KRAS is generally associated with colorectal cancers, and also pancreatic cancers. Right, so that is our